There are so many things happening, and I've been talking about a lot of them. And when I think about where this is headed and what we should do about it, it occurs to me how every aspect of our life that has been centralized over a period of many, many years. You know, the old way of describing it wasn't centralized or decentralized. It was self-sufficiency, self-reliant. Our videos are not usually about superficialities, stuff that you can get on any other channel, like how to use Airbnb and things like that. We've made videos like that years ago. We have over 1,000 videos. We've spent 8 years in Ecuador. We've been traveling the world for 12 years now. We're previous homeschooling homesteaders. Self-sufficiency, there you go. Let's cross, hon. So we brought a lot of that mentality with us when we went abroad, and although we kind of put it on vacation, we put it to rest, we're saying we're going to need to pull that out again, because you know, what we've seen in 2020 was just a little glimpse of what these people want to do to us. In this video, I'm going to talk about what's happening here in Puerto Vallarta. And I want to be sensitive to our regulars on our channel, but I also want to explain to newcomers. We've been talking about health because those are a lot of the things that we already have been self-sufficient and self-reliant. I'm going to use that and centralized and decentralized interchangeably. So a lot of people may not be totally familiar with the concept of decentralization, decentralized finance. That's okay. For them, I'll say self-sufficient, self-reliant, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And so one of the things we've always talked about is health, because the age of the internet, there's good doctors on the internet they're trying to silence them. I'm not sure if you've noticed that, but the good doctors, the ones that are actually trying to help people online, showing you how to take care of your health in a self-sufficient way on your own, they're trying to get rid of them. They're trying to silence them, shut them down. Now, here's what a lot of people don't know. I was privy to this in the 80s. The Lord has blessed me with the retire early lifestyle attitude all my life. And because of that, I've been able to spend time. This is funny because people on the treadmill will always ask you, well, what do you do? What do you do? The answer is whatever you want. I happen to have an inquisitive mind. They were silencing doctors and persecuting them in the 80s. A lot of people do not know that. And I was privy to that, even though there was no internet. Because again, I've been blessed with an inquisitive mind, and I've always searched for truth ever since I can remember, ever since I was a young man. And that has led me to being on the journey that I've been on so long, and therefore I have a long-standing knowledge base and background, and also experience. I'm always learning. But here's the thing, even in the 80s, doctors were being persecuted and pushed out of America. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of them back then were going to Mexico, where they could practice their natural healing and natural methods. And so just to say that we've been practicing natural healing and natural methods for a very long time. And we even wrote a book about it. After the doctors coming online, well, lay people like ourselves, they want to listen to doctors. And I don't blame them, and I wouldn't want them to listen to us instead of a doctor. But what you should do is listen to the doctors, but also listen to people like us, because what we're telling you is our experience with natural health. That's what we talk about. We don't try to act like a doctor and prescribe or tell people how to heal, but we can talk to you about our experience with natural healing, which is very important to know. Okay, having said all that, everywhere we go, because of that, everywhere we've been, whether we've been in Ecuador, wherever we were, South America, Mexico, Europe, it always comes down to either knowing or figuring out which natural substances are available locally, because you can be over here and over there and you're normally used to getting this herb, let's just say. And a lot of Americans are hooked on. I have to bite my tongue because there's really no way to describe them. They're a pharmacological death cult. A lot of people don't realize that. They're hooked on it, and they actually practice sacrilege and blasphemy and say things like it's from God. That is a sacrilege, and that is blasphemy. Just so you know that I'm biting my tongue when I refer to these outfits that get you hooked on sorcery. Substances that actually damage your body. I remember my mom was talking to me. You know, bless my mom. She had a deathbed conversion to Jesus Christ. Amen to that. But her whole life, she gave no. She didn't even give lip service to any interest in any kind of ancient knowledge or wisdom. But here's the thing: later in life, it's funny how people, they collect their experiences through life and realize, you know what, maybe I was wrong about this and that. And so they start being more open-minded. And so she started talking to me, knowing that I was a natural health adherent, about the medicines her doctors were trying to prescribe to her for this and that. And she started reading to me so-called side effects. And you wouldn't believe what some of these side effects were saying. I mean, like internal bleeding and all stuff like that. I mean, it would sound like you're committing suicide. You know, death by sorcery. And she just snapped out of it and realized, I'm not taking that. She decided to pass at home in her own bed instead of in the hospital. So the lights do go on, sometimes a little late for people. And people like us, we're just trying to help you turn that light on. And we're just here, for those that are ready, talking about how every aspect of our life needs to decentralize. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Sometimes, and especially right now, I've always been able to go wherever I am and find something that grows locally. And so you want something that grows locally, so that because the expats would come down and say, well, I need to get this specific medicine. And of course they had a hard time because you're going somewhere else. You're going somewhere newer, you know, and so you're trying to say, well, I have to have this. And so you have to learn, that's step number one, flexibility. And flexibility means knowledge, meaning that you know, for example, if you clean your floors with ammonia, and then you go abroad and you can't find ammonia, what do? You stuck? You don't clean your floor? No, you do some research and realize that white vinegar is a cleanser too. Well, there's lots of white vinegar abroad. Okay, let's use that. You know, that's what I'm talking about, flexibility in everything we do. And this is one of the things that I like about going abroad. It does keep you flexible, although I keep myself flexible anyway, regardless. A lot of people are not able to break into that mental flexibility, and it causes what appears to be a failure. But it doesn't have to be. But I'm just saying that I'm going here learning what other substances, natural substances or herbs, can I substitute, you know, number one. Number two, what's locally available? You know, because if you can substitute for this and that, but it's not available, well, that won't help you. Okay, well, what's available? Well, this is available. Okay. Well, lately, I haven't been able to get something. I won't mention what it is. I have my ways of finding it. I have found it in one form or another, but it's very suspicious to me that an everyday item, and this is the thing about natural health, taking care of your health. A lot of people worry about, oh, I can't retire because I can't travel abroad, I can't do this and that because I gotta have this expensive health insurance and all that. Different conversation. But I make wisecracks at times, you know. You see me in Italy climbing hills, telling you that, look at that, I did that without health insurance. I'm just making wisecracks. Natural health's where it's at. Decentralization of your health is what I'm talking about. It's what you need. We're healthy.
Wait, we're so healthy. People are probably wondering what it is that you need.
A lot of times when you're young, people won't listen. Oh, you're young. Just wait till you're my age. You know, it's like, okay, you got to wait 30 years to talk to people? I don't think so. But now that we're getting up there, it starts to be evident even to people that are older at our age that aren't able to do the things we do. Not bragging, just explaining that that's natural health, see? But it's more than that, it's lifestyle too. But beyond that, I haven't been able to get something that is a common, and I was starting to say that I love that about natural health, that a lot of times what is just commonly sold in produce section in the store, a lot of people don't realize what the health properties of some of this stuff is. And of course, I know you have to be careful in these stores, but remember, we're traveling, so we don't have necessarily the luxury of, you know, finding a farm and getting the item organic, you know, and all that without pesticide. I was in the country, out in the country in Ecuador, and I was buying produce from the farmers, and I got to talking to them. I said, "Is it sprayed?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's sprayed." I mean, you're out in the country, you know, in Ecuador. Why is it sprayed? Well, it's sprayed, you know, it's just blah, blah, blah. Okay. But beyond that, I haven't been able to get this common item that is available everywhere I've been. First thing, the price got jacked through the roof after we got here. Second thing, the quality. They're trying to sell you something for a literal arm and a leg that is in poor condition, that's not really usable. It's garbage. And the second thing, and you go to different stores and they're out. They don't even have it. Okay, so some of these herbs and natural remedies are really helpful in giving us a good, healthy feeling. It's kind of a maintenance thing. It's like, yeah, I keep my car in good shape, but, you know, every week I dust it off and wash it and clean it so that the paint doesn't deteriorate. I mean, yeah, it's a good, solid car. But if I didn't do that, the paint would start deteriorating. You know, maybe I put it in the garage. Maybe I cover it. So there's a maintenance thing with our health and our bodies too. And so you don't necessarily have to wait. This is what people don't realize. There's a maintenance thing with your health that you do. And a lot of people don't do the maintenance, and then when they finally body starts breaking down, they rush to the doctor because now it's an emergency. You know, well, that's not like not maintaining your car, and then finally when it breaks down, you know, same thing. Then you go to the mechanic. But you can a lot of times avoid mechanic, you just take care of the car. A lot of you guys know that. You know, check the wires, clean the cables, make sure that the liquids are topped off, and do all those things that you should be doing to double check the car and make sure that you're not allowing it to run down. So we've always been able to. I've always enjoyed figuring out what herbs are available, what plants, what vegetables, but it's been really difficult here, specifically in Puerto Vallarta. In Baja, it wasn't as hard, but for some reason here, these maintenance herbs we always use are just not available. These are well-known herbs that help your health in a natural way, so it's not a secret to those in the know. You know, a lot of this stuff is for private conversations. So, you know, you really can't put everything on video. That's why I ask people to go to my membership area. You want a 5-hour consultation, one-on-one, get all the nitty-gritty. It's all right there. You can access it as long as you want, as many times as you want. It's a digital format, plus you get access to me in addition to that. So,
well, I actually think if we talk about a specific product that's natural, we're going to get zapped on YouTube. Okay? That's what I think.
Yeah, you start talking about, yeah, you can... well, we already get zapped. We've had videos banned, and without justification. They don't
Demonetized, shadow banned.
these aren't good people. They're just making up excuses to silence people. It's called censorship. And when I was a boy or a young man, I remember billboard signs in America that said that it's illegal to discriminate against people or to censor. Censorship was always wrong. People in universities always spoke out against censorship. They were very much against it. But nowadays, different conversation. I just wanted to bring that out, in that I don't expect people to just all at once centralize everything. But if we can understand all of the aspects of decentralizing our lives, because this is what the times we live in, and this is the truth. This is what will be necessary for those that love liberty. Now, if you don't love liberty and you're happy, never mind that. Don't even go there, because it's like I used to have a couple of doves in an outside, a nice big cage underneath a nice chestnut tree. They got food every day and water. It was a cage, okay? Well, one night I forgot to close the cage, because I went in and to feed and to add food and water, and I forgot to lock it. Woke up the next day and I said, oh my gosh, the door was wide open all night. And guess what? The doves were still there. They're still there. They could have flown out at any time. In contrast, I like nature, so I had some birds. I had a parrot, and I had some lovebirds and this kind of thing. In contrast, the minute you open that door, if you had that parrot out of its cage, boom, he was gone. So, they're both birds, but they're different. Different bird, folks.
Good analogy.
True life experience. You can call it anecdotal, but that's the way it was. And that's the way it is. Yeah, this word anecdotal, that's just manipulation. It's verbal manipulation from those that are trying to manipulate your thinking. Now, if you trust the source, that's the thing about that. I mean, I realize, look, you can't trust strangers, and maybe they're lying to you. But at some point, we're gonna need to network, and we're gonna need to trust each other. People are gonna need to connect and network with people they trust. If you don't trust somebody, then you shouldn't, don't talk to them. But if you trust somebody, if you know somebody loves you, okay, why wouldn't you trust their experience? You see where I'm going? It's just silly to say, well, that's your experience. Because, there are times when anecdotal is worth more than a lot of other things, and is actually a companion and a confirmation to a lot of other things.
The truth, because it's an experience
the truth.
that's been experienced.
You can't just brush off an experience.